Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pigskin Addicts here again with another video. So I'm gonna start previewing this Week 7 game, the Seahawks and the Chargers, live from SoFi. So this game is last game before the bye week, and the Chargers, they need to finish this out strong. Honestly, I think this is the perfect opponent for the Chargers to get right against. This can be a get right game. Even though the Chargers have won the last three, things have been wonky, right? There's been miscommunications on defense. There's been, some bad play on offense, right? Mostly due to injuries. But, this is a get right game for the Chargers, and the opportunity is there. So I wanted to go over the offense, what the offense needs to do to win this game. So before I get into anything, let me just get into the Seattle Seahawks and how they rank defensively. Now, the Seahawks are 30th in total defense, so they are almost really at the bottom of the league in total defense. 31st in rushing, so they're one spot away from being the worst team in the league in rushing. As Charger fans, we know what that is. That was our reality last season, so they are there this year. And they are 22nd in passing. So this means that the Seattle defense is not a good defense. They have a defensive head coach in Pete Carroll, but their defense is not a good defense. They have not played well all season long. And honestly, it's been the reason why the Seahawks don't have a better record. They have played some good football this year. Like they have played some good football. So you do have to give them credit. The whole Russell Wilson thing, got overblown, the trade and all of that stuff. We see what he's doing with Denver. He's not doing very much. It is just a fact that Geno Smith is playing better football than Russell Wilson right now, right? A lot of people didn't expect that. I didn't expect that either, I'll be honest. But, this is where we're at right now. This is a reality. So the Seahawks they're a decent team, but defensively they are not anywhere close to being good. Now, offensively, the Chargers need to take advantage of this, and that's why I said this could be a get-right game for the Chargers. Things did not look good offensively against the Broncos. Again, injuries, especially up front of the offensive line. They just didn't play well, right? Didn't play well, but they scored enough points to win, right? 19 points is enough to beat the Broncos pretty much every week. So, that's that. They did enough to win that game. Now, I think you're going to have to score more points to beat the Seahawks offense. So, offensively, they need to run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And I know I say that every week. It is way more important this week. We've seen how Justin Herbert looked, right? And, there has been rumors that he did not take the shot pregame. So it looks like he was feeling, the pain of that rib injury. It looked like it, especially as the game was winding down, especially in overtime. It looked like he was feeling that injury. Now, I don't know if he's going to take the shot this week. If I'm going to take an educated guess, I would say yes, because, he knows what he looked like without that shot last week. So I would say yes, but, let's just not speculate on that, right? The Chargers still have to run the ball. They must run the ball. And the reason why they have to run the ball is that because they're going to have success. They are going to have success. I just went over it. Seattle is 31st in rushing, right? They are 31st in rushing. And, honestly, they're the worst team in rushing, to be honest, because at this point right now, right, just out of week 6 going into week 7, the Seahawks have given up the most rushing yards in the league. They've given up 995 rushing yards. That's how many yards they've allowed. Their defense has allowed. They are on pace to give up way more than 2,000 yards on the ground, which is terrible. It's awful. That's a 14-loss team type of stat. They've been playing well on offense, but they are going to give up more than 2,000 yards on the ground. They're going to get over 1,000 yards given up on them after this game. So the Chargers need to run the ball, and they need to stick with it too. The Seahawks are probably going to maybe try to sell out to stop the run. I don't think that they're going to do a whole lot of that because, we expect Keenan Allen to come back. So the Charger passing game should be back to normal, but I think that they are going to try to stop the run. I think they're going to try to stop it early. Joe Lombardi is notorious for abandoning the run. He abandons the run, and it doesn't do the Chargers any favor. They cannot abandon the run in this game. They're going to have to continue to run the ball. The Seahawks will give you yards. They have not stopped anybody on the ground. They are on pace to give up almost an NFL record in rushing yards allowed. They need to run the ball. The Chargers need to run the ball. Austin Eckler should have no less than 22 carries on the ground. He should have no less than 22 carries. Sony Michel should have, about 7 or 8 carries. Maybe Isaiah Spiller gets into this game. He should have a couple of carries. They should be well over 30 rushing attempts total. Team rushing attempts, there should be well over 30 for this game, because the Seahawks are going to give you rushing yards. You just have to take it. And the Chargers, they cannot abandon the run. They can't do it. It's too easy. They are literally, going to give you the yard. So if they go away from it, it's going to be a bad thing, right? And, I don't know if it loses in this game, but it's going to make this win a lot more difficult than what it should be. The Seahawks are going to give you runs. They're going to open up the floodgates. You just have to take it, and you just have to be committed to it. So that is a number one most important thing, I think, in this game. Offensively, the Chargers need to focus on run, because this team gives up yards. Number two, the Chargers need to go back and feed Mike Williams. We expect Keenan Allen to come back. We haven't heard word, for sure. He did not, or he practiced on a limited basis on Wednesday. But the Chargers need to get back to running this passing game at a pretty decent level right before the bye. The passing game has been off a little bit for the past couple of weeks. We know Herbert's injury. I just touched on that a little bit right now. But, the Chargers need to get back to getting the ball downfield in these intermediate routes. They ran a lot of short routes last week, and obviously, it was out of necessity. Plus, you add on the Broncos, really, really stingy defense. It didn't look pretty, but they were able to do enough on offense to win. Now, this week, I think you have to get back in rhythm. You have to get the passing game back in rhythm. I think Justin Herbert's going to look a lot better. Again, we expect Keenan to come back, but if he does come back, I think it's going to do wonders for this passing game. Josh Palmer is in concussion protocol right now, so we don't know his status. It'll probably be a toss-up in the air. He hasn't been ruled out yet, but we don't know his status. Hopefully he is able to play. If not, I expect him to go with Michael Bandy again. But regardless, I think the Chargers have to get this passing game going. They must get this passing game going. It doesn't have to be for a bunch of yards, but they have to convert on third down. And they have to get the ball down the field in intermediate routes. I don't think that they need to, just chuck it down the field and go deep. But the intermediate routes, the 10 to 15 yard routes, they got to hit, right? They got to hit some of those on third down. They got to hit some of those maybe on first down too, play action, things like that. They got to hit some of those routes. They got to get back to that before the bye week. And, hopefully out of the bye week, they're able to continue, hitting those routes, because those are staples of the Charger offense right now. So they have to get back on track in the passing game. Now that leads me to the next point, and obviously it is the offensive line, right? They're not going to be able to get back on track in the passing game if the offensive line isn't good enough. Corey Linsley was out last week. That was a very, very, very big loss. We all seen it. We seen what the offensive line looked like without Corey Linsley. Everybody else pretty much struggled because Corey Linsley wasn't there. He's the guy that sets the protection. He's the guy that is in constant communication with the quarterback, and he knows this offense, and he is able to really direct traffic up there on the offensive line. And by him setting protection and by him doing it correctly, he is able to put the other linemen in, positions so they are able to succeed, right? We've seen some holding calls, Trey Pipkin, Zion Johnson against the Broncos. Not having the center there is a very, very big deal. Casual football fans don't know that, but, having the center as good as Corey Linsley, especially in pass protection, it's huge. It's huge, and, it can change the outcome of a game. So we expect him back. He had an illness. They said he was in the building, on Tuesday. So he came back. He's on track to play. I think they have him on the injury report as well, too. But from everything that I hear, he's on track to play. So I expect the offensive line to be much better in pass protection. All things considered, all the bad play, all the penalties last week, they only gave up 2 sacks. That's not the worst that you've ever seen. But they did give up a lot of hits. And, as far as the running game goes, they were not able to get into a rhythm, right? The penalties kind of took them out of it. So I do expect a lot better line play, and that's going to lead to more completions down the field. It's going to lead, to Mike Williams, having a bigger game, having more of an impact. It's going to lead to Keenan Allen, hopefully he comes back. It's going to lead to him having a big game and having a pretty big impact as well, too. So Offensive line, obviously they have to play much better, but as far as injuries go, they were just kind of decimated last week. So I do expect a lot better offensive line play this week. Hopefully they're able to stay healthy going forward as well too. I think the one thing that the Chargers have to do offensively is ball control. I think they have to control the ball, control the clock. I think time of possession is going to be a big stat against the Seahawks. That's what I'm going to be looking for this week. Time of possession. They need to dominate time of possession. They need to keep this bad Seahawks defense on the field for as long as they can. Now, I know, as far as the numbers go, the Chargers might hit some big plays, right? There might be some quick drives. There might be some short drives, and that's fine, right? As long as they're scoring touchdowns, that's fine. But I think, especially in the second half, the Chargers, they have to run the ball, continue running the ball, but continue converting on third downs, right? And continue bleeding this clock. They just need to keep this defense on the field as long as they can. As long as they do that, they will be fine because they don't really play well from behind. They do have a couple wins on the season, but they want to play with the lead. They want to run the ball. Pete Carroll is an old school coach. He wants to get the lead and he wants to run the ball and he wants to bleed the clock. So the Chargers need to do that to the Seahawks. The Seahawks have one of the worst defenses in the league. Keep them out on the field as long as you can. Get them guys gassed. Keep them on the field for 70, 80 plays, whatever. Dominate that time of possession. And come fourth quarter, the Seahawks are going to be playing from behind. They're going to rush. They're going to try to, get the ball downfield. And then, at that point, it'll be time for, look for some turnovers, some sack fumbles, some interceptions, all of that type of stuff. But it starts with possession. It starts with ball control. That's what the Chargers need to do. If they do that successfully, they will win this game by multiple scores. So I have full confidence that if the Chargers have the ball for 35 to 40 minutes, they will have, a not necessarily a blowout victory, but a multiple score victory, a comfortable victory at home going into the bye week. Another point of emphasis is scoring touchdowns in the red zone. The Chargers have to get back to that. And, again, a lot of that starts with the offensive line. Get that. But they have to go and be aggressive in the red zone. I think, a lot of the play calling the past couple of weeks has been conservative in the red zone. They got to go and take shots at the end zone. You got to get Mike Williams in the end zone. Donald Parham is in concussion protocol. Don't know if he's going to play. But he is a big red zone target, right, at 6'8". Gerald Everett, I think he was on the injury report as well, too. But I think he's going to play this week. You got a big, strong tight end. They got to go and take shots at the end zone. When they get the ball, at the 20, at the 15, take shots in the end zone. Herbert's got to be aggressive. Joe Lombardi has to unleash him. I don't know if he's in his ear telling him to look for the short routes or whatever, but Herbert has to be unleashed. He's got to take shots down the field. I think he's going to have the protection this game. The Seahawks defense is not great. They don't get to the quarterback a whole lot either. So Herbert's going to be back there with time. So I think he needs to take some shots, rip some shots down the field, take some shots at the end zone, put the ball in the end zone whenever you have it in the red zone, because that's important, right? We can't just keep getting into field goal games. Dustin Hopkins will not be playing. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Taylor Bertolette, I think is the backup kicker's name. He was pretty good in Cleveland, but, the Chargers should not be relying on him, to make a bunch of field goals. They need to put the ball in the end zone. Whenever you get in the red zone, put the ball in the end zone. Just be aggressive. Be aggressive. They have to have an aggressive mindset in the red zone. If you throw an interception, whatever, it's not the worst thing in the world. They just need to be aggressive. They have to have this mindset of aggression, right? Things should go a lot better in this game. So I think they need to get that mindset back on offense, being aggressive, putting the ball in the end zone, right? We don't want to get into a field goal game with the Seahawks. We don't want to get into a mucky kind of game that we got into on Monday night. We want to put the ball in the end zone. We need to score points so we can put the pressure on Geno Smith. Now, lastly, my prediction for the game, I think the Chargers win 31-17. Again, I think they win by 2 scores. Number one, this defense, again, I cannot harp on it enough. They are giving up a bunch of rushing yards. They are on pace to give up a league record in rushing yards. So, with that being said, the Chargers have whatever they want to do. If they are able to run the ball, even just a little bit, they are going to have really everything, at their fingertips. They're going to be able to run the ball. first and second down, they're going to be able to go play action. Those routes are going to open up, down the middle of the field. The safeties are going to try to come up to help stop the run. You're going to be able to have one-on-one coverage on the back end. I trust Mike Williams. I trust Keenan Allen against the DBs of the Seahawks. So there's going to be ample opportunity for the Chargers offense to put up points. There's going to be ample opportunities for big plays. And, there's going to be a opportunity for the Chargers to win this game by multiple scores. And, again, 31-17. I really, really feel they get right in this game. I feel that they go into the bye week feeling really, really good about themselves, feeling really good about being 5-2, right? With everything that has went wrong, I think they feel good about being 5-2. And I think they get it done. I think they get it done. And, hopefully they go into the bye week and, try to get healthy. We get some guys back after the bye week, and they continue to try to just be better, every game offensively. But I think they win 31-17. That is my little offensive breakdown this game. Seahawks at the Chargers. I think it is going to be a pretty entertaining game. It's going to be a much better watch than the Broncos game on Monday night. But I'm looking for the Chargers to rebound here offensively, and hopefully they have a big game and take some momentum with them into the bye week. But that is all I got for this one, guys. Thank you so much for all of the support. I really, really appreciate it. All the views, all the comments, all of the engagement. I really love the interaction. Love talking ball with everybody on here. So I really, really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out as well, too. That's all I got for this one, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more content.